First takes the resistance to the left to the next level. See, it had to come to this. Now in America, we are not as far along as they are in the UK. In the UK, they have been suffering under these draconian left-wing policies and hate speech things for some time now, and things have been pretty bad for them over there. And only a few intrepid people like Tommy Robinson and Paul Golding and Paul Rimmer have been fighting back. And of course, the first thing that happens is the people fighting back against the left, they end up getting put in jail. So, but now they seem to have been leaving Tommy alone more so lately. Perhaps they're too occupied with the coronavirus, or perhaps they're just realizing that they just increase the public's affection for him and give him lots of publicity. So, of late, it's just been like a few stray leftists who just think they're going to get brownie points with their tribe and the community if they get the honor of punching Tommy Robinson or something, you know, getting him in trouble. So that's where we are right now. But on VK, I've been keeping up with Tommy and Paul, and I'm noticing that there's a new patrol. Their navy, essentially, Britain First is starting their own navy, and patrolling the waters, and patrolling the shores, and trying to prevent illegal crossings. So, I'm not sure of all the details of what their activities are including, but they are taking a step. And I said, basically, this is what's going to end up needing to happen in America, too. The government officials, they are completely incompetent. They have abdicated their authority in most places. You know, you've seen the cities burning. Here in America, our cities in the backyards are smoking. And the leftists just keep praising the rioters because they hope they won't get their houses burned down. It just means their house will be burned down later on. And eventually it will be. So the leftists, they're not going to get away with it. The peaceful protesters won't wind up on the leftists' doorsteps eventually. You can be sure of that. So apparently what needs to be done is citizens are going to have to just take things upon themselves because the governments are too ineffective, too corrupt, and there has going to have to be steps taken. Essentially, like I said, these countries we're going to have more than one government. You're going to have the left government and the right government, and they're going to end up fighting each other. But, I mean, we can try to put, as people rise up in their protests and start to take action, like Britain First is taking action. I mean, God bless them. Good for them. I mean, things that need to be taken care of, and there's just too much corruption in our governments. They're not functioning, and they're defunding the law enforcement, so it's everybody for himself. So essentially we are in the wild, wild west, and we don't know how many countries are going to split out of this and what's not. But Americans are still in the stages of, my city's on fire. Americans still are like, they don't know what to do. They're totally, I don't know. There's some, Dr. Steve Turley does say there are different places where there are militias starting to protect people's homes. And like I said, the Democrats, they are completely lost the plot. I mean, I wonder, yes, and did you hear the latest about how the BLM activists are demanding the white people's homes? Oh, I wonder which Democrats, which news media, fake news media anchors, and which politicians are going to be the first to volunteer to hand their homes over to these BLM activists. I'm just waiting. Come on, leftists, hand over the keys. I mean, you're racist if you don't do it. Gotta do it. Come on, Cuomo, Chris Cuomo, Brian Stelter, Rachel Maddow. Come on, you white people. You won't be for social justice unless you give your homes over to the activists. No more home for you. But see here, the left, I don't know what they think they're going to gain. I mean, of course, the communists want to gain communism. They think they'll gain power. But these other people, they think they're going to get the rich people's stuff, but they're going to end up in a garbage dump. Because guess what happens? Whenever they get, say they get some of these leftists' homes, then what happens? They can't afford to, they probably don't work. The BLM activists don't work. So their job is being an activist. So when they get these homes, they're going to not be able to pay the utilities and the rent and the taxes. And of course, then the first thing they'll say is, oh, if they charge us taxes, that's racist. So no taxes for us. Get rid of their taxes. Okay, we got rid of that. But still, do they have, and they'll say, oh, it's racist to charge us utilities too. Okay, so basically you can't charge anybody any utilities or any taxes. How's this sounding? So this means that the rest of us should get rid of taxes too, because I mean, if a whole bunch of people aren't going to be paying taxes because they'll say, oh, you're racist if you get taxes, you see how this goes? Basically, civilization is getting an entire reboot, in the process of getting a complete reboot, and it badly needs it. So bottom line is, so these activists, once they take possession of these rich homes, they will trash them. Then the property value will go down, and then guess what? The big rich liberals will come in and buy the property that the BLM activists trashed, and then they'll be out again, and then they'll wait till the lefties fix up the houses, and then they'll come back in again to take it. Because you see, in a lot of cases, poverty is a habit. It is a habit of, not being responsible. To get out of poverty, you have to work very hard. You have to pay your bills. You have to be responsible, go to work, fix up your house, get along with your neighbors. There's a lot of responsibility involved, and the leftists are not going to be able to handle it. So they're going to be back in poverty before you can say Jack Robinson. And the whole cycle is going to start again. So just because the leftists are going to try to take possession of rich people's houses doesn't mean they will be able to keep the houses up. It doesn't. They'll probably lose them pretty quick, or trash them, or both. So now, as I was saying, and also the active UK patriot, I see his posts on YouTube. I'm glad he's still there. I'm surprised. YouTube is letting patriots still be on their platform. And I see Tommy Robinson tweeting out too. So definitely, I say, great job, active UK patriot. It really takes a lot for citizens to start to take on the duties of making the country function. And eventually, we hope that there will be a peaceful shift as some of the regular government officials have abdicated their positions. They've abdicated them in the U.S. here. Once the citizens start stepping up and start doing the jobs that the governments cannot do or won't do because they're defunded again, then, the citizens, like I said, have to take charge, and the pressure will be put on these government officials. They'll have to hand back the control to the citizens to do the patrolling. They'll have to hand back more and more control to the citizens, and basically you'll end up with the eventual dissolving of the corrupt government and ineffective government, and the rise of the new government. So we're sort of at a very strange crossroads in our nation's histories. In fact, like I said, all of our Western nations, Europe, Britain, Australia, America, Canada, we're all at the same crossroads at the same time. Isn't that funny? So we're all experiencing this. And like I said, we're seeing some of the change and how it's going to go in the UK first, because like I said, they've been experiencing these problems longer than the US has, and the gradual erosion of their freedom. They haven't maybe had as many riots as we are having, but at least America needs to wake up. So it's good that our changes come faster. But so from what's going on there, and as we see Britain first taking the initiative to start getting things under control. I'm saying this is what Americans need to do too. Americans probably aren't ready to start taking things under control. Some people are in some places, but this has got to go across the board. It's not only about our national security, national safety. It's all the institutions, all the left-wing institutions are crumbling relics of disaster. The prisons, the hospitals, the schools, the entertainment. It's all a complete mess. This is what we get for letting the left do their thing. Allowing the left to just do their thing means complete corruption. the left will abuse freedom. Somewhere along the line, freedom has gotten confused with crime. To a leftist, they think that the settlers, the pilgrims, came to America just because they weren't allowed to swear in public, weren't allowed to poop on the streets, weren't allowed to pinch women in the public or something. That seems to be why the left thinks this country was founded. That's freedom to them. No, freedom is freedom to make a great country, freedom to work hard, freedom to make a good country. And by being a good person, and by, not having to be under taxes, which we have a problem with taxes in America, and also be able to govern ourselves and speak against the king, speak against, the government officials without fearing of being put in the stocks or in the dungeon or the tower, getting lashes. Being able to own property, the important things, being able to keep the fruits of your labor. That is, and like I said, that is freedom. And the left doesn't seem to think that's freedom. They seem to think freedom is just debauchery. Debauchery, depravity, and degeneration. They think that's freedom, but it's not, because that is harming other people. And if you sift through the left's beliefs of freedom, almost everything they do is a crime, has been a crime, or should be a crime, and hurts other people, other than themselves. I mean, even if they're just hurting themselves by, being an absolute drunk or something, they're probably still, keeping their family poor, hitting their children, causing mental anguish to their wife. Any way you cut it, they are hurting others. So they just are not good citizens. Leftists are not good citizens. Freedom means freedom to be a good person and worship God as you please. That was one of the main freedoms. Leftists don't even believe in God. So we have a serious problem. And we need to redo the whole country. All of us, all of our countries, all of our Western nations. They're infested with leftists with bad work ethics. They just promote laziness, sloth, taking money from the poor to give them to other people so they can get votes, to buy votes. That's like stealing. So the welfare system is based on a stealing system. There are so many things wrong with our system that need corrected. But our generation is here, so now we can start working to correct these problems that we didn't know existed before. So, like I said, now it's for these sports leagues. Sports leagues all got to be redone. Time to start new sports leagues. Give them some competition. I don't know what kind of rules they'll have in the UK, if they'll complain if people try to start their own sports leagues. But in the US, there shouldn't be anything against it. Anyone can start their own sports league. Just find a field and get someone to video it and post it online and start a sports channel. We're going to have the pioneer spirit. Get our pioneer spirits up and show these leftists a thing or two. Now, like I said, I know in America we have a little bit more freedom than they do in the UK. And so us Americans, we need to take advantage of our freedom and stop staring with open mouths at all the horrible things the lefts are doing. Because, like I said, this is a transition period. We are at a crossroads, and society's been rotten for a long time. We need to make changes. And it's up to us, it's our generation, it's up to us to fix the problems. As the left-wing governments crumble, we are here to pick up the pieces. So great job, Tommy Robinson, and great job, Paul Golding, Britain First. God bless. Let freedom ring.